Okay, in this video we're going to demonstrate some of the features of Swing Master Chartist, Option Master Chartist, on how you can go about finding a really good trade opportunity fairly quickly and fairly easily. Now what I've done is I've used the pencil icon to pull up Notepad, and I've opened a list of stocks that stocks and ETFs, about 70 of them, that have options and that are very liquid, and I've placed them in the core list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a swing trade scan. In this case I'm going to run the Hull turn scan. Now I can run it on any of my watch lists or all of them, but in this case I'm just going to run it on the about 70 stocks and ETFs that are in my core list. And I'll click go and then come back to you. Okay, the scan has finished, and we've come up with about 7 stocks that had a positive Hull moving average turn, so they're in the bullish list, and this scan didn't show any stocks in the bearish list. Now these results are placed in the OB and OS watch list. In this case we'll be looking in the OS watch list because it was a bullish scan. So this will pull up the 7 candidates that we want to look at for a potential long trade on Monday morning. Now the best way to do that is to go right to trading charts and to go to the SEO trading signals, and because we're looking for long trades, we're going to go to the oversold watch list, and we can see that our first candidate is Apple. Now what we're going to do is just scroll through the list, and Apple has some of the requirements. It's in a bullish posture. It goes from the lower left to the upper right hand corner, but it's not a good candidate for a trade right now. And the reason is that we want to see these green squares over on the far right hand side when we're looking at the stock. And the reason for that is that this top panel is the commodity channel index. The red squares indicate that the CCI is above plus 100, and the green squares indicate that it's below minus 100. And what we want to see green squares over here with the stock in a bullish trend, and the green square is indicating it's in a position from which it could go higher. But we'll see that as we go through here. Okay, the second candidate is Costco, left to right, but we don't have the green squares in the right place. Okay, FDX is the third one on the list, and we can see that the green squares are over on the right hand side of the chart. The chart goes from the bottom left to the top right, which is bullish, and the green squares are in the right position. And when they transition from white to green, it indicates that the CCI is moving out of the minus 100, out of the deeply oversold condition. The bottom panel here is the Williams percent R, which is a very sensitive stochastic-like indicator, and we can see that the Williams percent R has moved out of the oversold zone and is just starting to head higher. So we have a good candidate, FDX, Federal Express, in a good position that we want to look at this for a long trade on Monday. Now, one of the things you can do is you can go right from the SEO after we find a good trade candidate to any of these different charting methods, and I'll just quickly go through them. One is the 10-minute chart, and what this will do, it'll pull up a 10-minute chart. It's about 20 days of 10-minute period, and it shows you the 10-minute bars in a line form. This is the OBV, or on balance volume, and this is the special K indicator, which works very well with these short-term charts. That was developed by Martin Pring. You can read about it at stockcharts.com, but it's a very reliable indicator. And if you're using this chart, what I do is I will use the different lines to indicate price levels that I want to see the stock move into or out of to consider a long trade. For example, I would want to see FDX on Monday move up through this volume level on rising OBV volume, and we can indicate that with another line here. So on Monday morning, if I were using the 10-minute chart, and I can make it live, would be for on-balance volume to move up through this red line, and for the price of FDX Federal Express to move up through this zone and start to advance. And if that happened, then I'd know that I was in a good position to take a position in FDX. Now there's a couple other choices here. One is the RTN, and that's the rotation chart. And this one you can also go live on if you want to. This is more difficult to decipher on first glance, but it's actually very simple to use. And what this chart is showing, 130 minutes, 5 days of 130-minute bars, 5 days of 30-minute bars, and 3 days of 10-minute bars, all in the Heikin-Ashi format. And what we want to do is we only look only on the right-hand side of the chart, and we want to be in a position where the projection oscillator, and that's this oscillator on all three panels, going from the low point, the oversold point, and moving up higher. And that would indicate that we're timing this trade in the best possible situation when all indicators are at the bottom and moving up. Another choice is the red dot chart, and that's indicated with the dot panel. And this is a versatile chart. What this shows is the price bars and Heikin-Ashi, but you can also look at them in bars. You can look at the Elder Impulse System, or you can look at plain candlesticks, and you can look at any time period from weekly down to 5 minutes. It defaults to the daily, which is the time frame we're interested in. Now the green, the blue, and the red line here this is called the momentum ribbon. And what we want to see for a bullish trade, what we want to see happen, is for the green ribbon to cross above the red and eventually the blue and then expand, and that indicates that momentum is strong up. The little square pattern here, this indicates the direction of the Hull moving average, and because we did the scan, we know that the Hull moving average turned up on this bar, and that's indicated by the green. And this is the MACD histogram, and this is a very simple but very, very effective indicator. And when the MACD histogram goes from below zero and crosses above zero, that's often an indication of a good swing trade opportunity. And we can see that for FedEx, we had the Hull turn up and the MACD cross above zero at the same time. So this is a trade that we'd want to look at. Now these directional arrows show a longer term bias. Those are based on the True Strength Index that was developed by William Blau, and you can read about that also on stockcharts.com, or you can go to William Blau's website, BLAU, and it's called the True Strength Index. It's a pretty reliable indicator, and it indicates the bias. Right now it's down, but if we If this continues to move up, it'll flip to up. So we're not going to base a trade on the true strength index, but as the trade advances, if indeed it goes in the right direction, we will want to see a green arrow indicating that it's moving the right way. And the third chart is the PJO, and that's the projection oscillator. And the projection oscillator is similar to a stochastic, but whereas a stochastic is based on, say if it's a 14-period stochastic, it's based on the high-low over the past 14 periods. The projection oscillator is based not on the raw prices, but on a linear projection of the prices over that period. And I think it's more reliable. And what we can see here is that the projection oscillator has shot up out of the oversold zone into the OB zone, which is good because the initial movement is seldom the complete move, and we can see that happen in conjunction with the MACD crossing above zero. And just like on the red dot, you can look at different time frames and look at the bars in different patterns. So you get all that from the SEO. The K and the M buttons over here. The M shows the moving averages, and this is our longer term, I call it trend model, and it's a 50 and 100 period moving average. And when the 50 period average, which is green, is running ahead of the 100 period average, which is red, the stock's in a bullish mode. And you can flip between the moving averages and the Keltner channels to get an indication of what the position of the stock is. And I'll explain these three traffic lights in the top left corner. They're OBV for on-balance volume and ROC for rate of change. And if it's dark green like this, it means that on-balance volume is bullish over a 6-month period and a 3-month period. If the traffic light is light green, it indicates that the rate of change is bullish over a 6-month period, but not bullish over a 3-month period, so it's a little weaker. And PTT means permission to trade, and that's a combination of different momentum indicators that give you a green light or a red light, indicating how strong the immediate momentum push is. So because all three of these are green on FDX, we have it coming out of a CCI oversold condition. We have Williams moving out of an oversold condition. We have it at the bottom of the Keltner channel, and the stock is moving from the lower left to the upper right. That we say that FDX is an excellent candidate to trade on Monday morning, and you can fine-tune your trade and try and get the timing as absolutely as best you can by using any of these tools: the 10-minute chart, the rotation charts, the red dot chart, or the projection oscillator chart. And there are actually a couple other tools you can use to time trades. But if you work with any of those, I think you'll improve your trading results and trade smarter with good entries. Okay, I hope you found this useful.